Hey, what's up everybody? Colby with Arrowhead Bison. Out here just giving the bison some iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, cabbage, and broccoli. They are spoiled and eat way better than I do. I mean healthier. Not better. Because I do love me some Whataburger, I tell you what. Anyways, so, this video, all about Bison Conformation. What to look for when purchasing bison. What do you need to look at as far as their body structure is concerned. So, I'm going to be trying to throw up still pictures of everything because it's going to be a lot easier for me to do still pictures with a voice overlay. Guys, I've been only researching bison for a year and a half, but I have talked to a lot of veterans, a lot of people who've been in the business for a long time, and I'm nowhere near where I need to be on my knowledge. I'll never be. You're gonna learn something new every day with these animals, but I did learn from some guys who definitely know what they're talking about. So we'll do that, and yeah, tell me what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoy it. This is so interesting. I have no idea what just happened. But they all just took off and huddled over there. I didn't pressure him or anything. Billy and one of the Kansas 5 bulls kind of ran over there and started tussling around a bit, but it's like everyone else just started running over there to watch or something. But that is very interesting. They're all feeling a bit frisky tonight, I guess. It is pretty cold. We had a cold front come in on Saturday night. I just woke up depressed because Saturday was in the 70s, beautiful, and then it just was freezing frigid cold again, and it just made me sad. So anyways, I'm just gonna dump some more food off here and get back to telling y'all about Bison Conformation. Where do you begin? At the back half of a bison. I'm gonna be looking first at the hips and at the legs and the bone structure of that area before I even look at anything else. So let's get a picture going here and I can show you a little bit more. All right, here we go. So here is Billy. Billy is not perfect, but he is very sound structurally. He's not the biggest guy around, but he's sound. So we're gonna start at the base of his tail. Kind of hard to tell in this picture, but let me see if I can draw some lines here. Okay, so if I'm looking at this line I threw up here, at the base of the tail, all the way to his back heel, should be a straight line. Now, it's, you're obviously going to have his rump that pokes out a little bit, and then his kind of what we would consider thighs would curve back in, and then at the knee on down to the heel should be a straight line. As you can tell, Billy's actually comes in just a little bit towards his body, and honestly, if I'm being nitpicky, that's the only thing with Billy I would actually ever point out. So now, staying on this back end, I'm still just going to be looking at his general area back there. His hips, his hip bones. He's got good meat back there. One thing to remember, meat does not hang on air. It needs bones to hang on. So this meat is hanging on good, structurally sound bones. There's no real sharp edges to his hips. There's no, and some of this, some of that may be due to conditioning, if you can see a lot of hip, if he's been taken care of or not. But he's just full back there. He's not too full, but he's full. And that meat is hanging on good structured bones. So there's no jagged edges. There's no sharp angles anywhere on the back end of Billy. It is harder to tell in the winter because their fur is thicker, but you would be able to see the same thing in the summer. Okay, now I want to look at this little spot right here. This is the next thing I'm going to be looking for, and I want to see him walk. Obviously, I'm acting like if I'm at a sale, I'm thinking about purchasing a new bison. So if I'm going to look at this little circled area right here, that is a joint, but below that knee, it is not supposed to move when they walk. There might be some very tiny slight movement there, but it is not supposed to move. So let's look at Billy walk. So you can see that when he's picking up his legs here, that bottom half of the leg isn't moving. Sure, you see the impact, when he steps down, but it's not moving. I've literally seen it in person, that bottom leg almost dangle because it moves so much. Alright, so here we go with Cece's back line. I wish she was standing a little bit better. She has one leg forward and the other leg back. But look at that parallelness between that back leg and that line. That's really nice. Typically, she's standing to where both legs look like that. You don't want both legs either too forward or too far back. You want them just right about in line with the base of the tail. Okay, so now let's watch Cece walk. She lands on those back hooves and nowhere else. Well, you ask yourself, where else would they land? Some bison are so overweight, meaning they have been fed way too much. They become overweight at too young of an age that their structure can't handle it, and so they walk on their back dew claws. Always make sure and look that bison are not walking on their dew claws, either with their front legs or especially their back legs. That's a bad sign. All right, let's look at some top lines. So, look at Billy again. From the base of the tail to the top of the hump, this is easier to see if his head is up. Unintentional rhyme master in the building. But look at that line. There's not a whole lot of variance there. It's pretty parallel. From the base of the tail, again, if his head was up, the top of the hump. Pretty stinking straight line. That's a good sign and one you always want to look for. Here we go again with Cece. Base of the tail, top of the hump. Hardly any variation there. It's pretty stinking parallel. So, great signs to look for. You don't want a big dip in the back, and you don't want a big hump before the top of the hump, if that makes sense. So, keep an eye out for those signs as well. Again, we see here with another side view of Billy, base of the tail down to the heel. At that joint, Billy's legs comes in just a little bit. It's not bad, but, it's not perfectly straight like you really want to look for. And the top line of the back, very nice. There's hardly any variation there, pretty parallel, and Billy's just very good structurally. He's not perfect, but he is sound, and I just love the guy. Okay, you see that area right there in the circle? If Billy was standing straight and that other leg was moved forward a little bit, you should be able to squeeze a football in between his two back feet right there. Not long ways, but the width of a football, you should be able to squeeze in right there between his two back hooves. Alright, so now we know what to look for on the back half of a bison. Good bones, good structure, soundness all the way through, good hips, a good back line. We know that meat is hanging on good structured bone. So let's look at these front legs now. Look how straight those are. They don't shoot out to the outside. They don't shoot into the inside. Those legs are nice and straight and parallel with each other. She's not bow-legged by any means, but I have seen this, and that is not good. I've seen them to where they really go out and back in, or vice versa, and that is a bad sign to look for. Alright, let's look at this big fella. So, look right around where the top of the hump is, draw that line down, and it should end up right around where the front of his hoof is. That is very nice right there. Now sometimes it is hard to tell because some bison's humps are further forward than others and they peak more forward, typically in the woods cross bison, but typically just general area of where the peak of that hump is down to the front of that hoof. And the last thing I really want to say is just, does the bison look proportionate? Are her legs too far apart or too far in? Are they bowed in any way? Is everything just nice and straight and symmetrical? Not every bison is perfect, you know what I mean? They're all going to have different genetics and variations, but you want to look for these good signs. And just, does all this stuff match up? Is the bison proportionate? Is it structurally sound? I hope I've been able to provide some good insight of what to look for in a bison, what is structurally sound, and what's the whole reason for this. The reason is because we want these bison to breed for us, and we want them to breed for us for a long time. Good structural sound bison will breed for us for a long time, and that's what we're looking for. Hey everyone, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Again, I hope I provided some good advice for you guys, what to look for and what not to look for. Another thing I thought of after I did all this is one easy way to tell of how a bison is overweight. So if they have been fed way too much, I mentioned if they're walking on their dew claws, on their back legs, that means they have too much weight on them and their bones aren't ready for that much weight. So, whenever you see a bison's rump and they're standing normal with their tail down, they're not agitated or anything. If you see the meat of their rump sticking out further than the tail, so tail right here, two pieces of meat that come out, and they're sticking further out than the tail, that is not a good sign that bison is overweight. And one thing to know is that a lot of these sales, especially the big regional ones or the big national ones, people will shovel food into these bison to get them as big as they can get them. And like I said, if a bison gains too much weight too fast at a young age, like a 2,000 pound 2-year-old, that's crazy. That's a big bison. Believe me, that is a huge, very good genetics of a bison, 2,000 at 2 years old, but it's probably overweight. And so they were conditioning them for the sale to make them as big as they can, so they can get a higher sell price for them. But that bison, if you buy it and bring it home, it's gonna lose like 200 to 500 pounds. It will melt when you bring it home because you're not gonna be feeding it that same feed regimen. So be cautious of that. Look for the good signs, the bad signs, and if anything I said today, if you're another bison rancher out there and you think I'm wrong, please let me know. I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But if there's something I said that you're like, I don't think that's right, please let me know so I can make any corrections. But I'm just trying to relay what I've been taught, and again, I hope y'all find it useful. So y'all have a great day.